So previous video you saw me work on the Jeep. That's where we left off. So we're gonna go ahead and start working on this one right here and just start removing pretty much doing the same process that we did on the other one, but on this one. Hopefully it's a little bit easier. This one does spin freely, does pretty good. So I believe everything should be fine. No water, no like stuff like that, I believe. So let's get started and hopefully I can get a couple parts. Hopefully the brakes are good. Remember the brakes, I do need to replace them. If these are decent, then I'm gonna put these on, whatever. But hopefully it's not as bad and we can go ahead and get this done, and we can put those axles in, put the diff in, and not have to buy a whole new axle or something like that. So yeah, let's get started on it. So I finally finished removing everything from the Jeep. I've had a rush super bad because right now it's cloudy, it's thundering, it's about to rain, and I didn't want to leave like half-ass it because I didn't want anything to rust and get water in there and have the same problem I had again. So I just rushed through it, finally was able to get it done. For some reason, always wants to rain when I'm working. The whole day was sunny, like 100-degree weather, and today, right when I started working, it started raining, so that pisses me off. But besides that, I got it done. As you can see, all this right here needs to be put back on, but it's going to be a hassle. I tried to like hammer it in, see if it went in quickly. Did not, so it's going to take a lot more work. All I'm going to do is put the axles back in. I'm going to stay with the old diff because it seems to be good. If it's not, I'll throw it away one day whenever I get the chance. But let me go ahead and show you the stuff real quick so you can kind of see how clean it looks compared to the other ones. So I just turned off my light, but here's the flash. But look how clean that looks. You can just see the gray like metal material like perfectly. The bearing looks decent. It's still gonna change it, but looks pretty good. The teeth look, way better than the other one. I think the other ones just have dirt, but looks way better. So let's move on to the diff. Look at the diff, how clean. Wow, like that's what you want it to look like pretty much, and not that. So you can obviously tell the difference from both of these. Is pretty amazing. I'm just happy that this one is in good shape and ready to go. All I have to do now is pretty much slap it on. Let me go show you the other axle. So here's the other axle. As you can see, it's pretty rusted, pretty bad compared to the other ones. So finally, after probably a couple days, I was able to finish the Jeep. You can see the wheels are on. The axles are just in there and there's no diff, so they're wiggling around. All they're held on by is the bolts on the brake drums and the lug nuts, obviously. So it could come off, but my intention is to roll it one last time onto a trailer and then throw it away. So yeah, I'm glad that's done because a full week of rain is coming and I would have not been able to work on that for a good minute. But now that that's done, don't have to worry about it. It's done. Now I need to clean this mess up. I need to clean the bolts, the tools, and just kind of reset to have a clean space, a clean area to go ahead and finish this Jeep. I really need to concentrate on making this right. I still haven't cleaned the tube out, which we'll do right now. So just first, I want to go ahead and clean all this, and then we'll move on to cleaning that tube out. And yeah, so I'll see you on that next clip after I'm done cleaning up. So you just saw me hammer away here, trying to remove these seals. It's 2 seals, I believe. In general, it's not 3 because it looks like it's 3. I think this one was in here somehow or on the other side, but pretty much this one's the only hard one that I had to work to actually get out. I had to put the flat pretty much in the bottom here and then just hammer it in so it can slide under. And then I was able to pry it pretty much out just like that. And this is the metal one with a little sort of metallic elastic band. And this one I took out, but before I even took that one out, this one seemed to be like in the back. So this one I just like pulled out with my hand. That one was fairly easy. So now we're gonna go ahead and do this on the other side. So you can kind of see how this works. This seal just sits on this lip right here, and then that other one sits back there. I was able to just pull this one forward and get it out. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do this step by step, just by taking this one out first and then removing it all together. So I bent the absolute crap out of it, but I kind of want you to get an idea. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. And this seal seems to sit behind it like that. So it's kind of facing like this. So if you're ever wondering how or which way it's supposed to go, that's how it goes. So I bought this from Walmart, and pretty much just, it would work for other things, I'm guessing for rims and stuff like that. But in this case, this is probably the best thing I could find to kind of remove a lot of the debris out. The bristles aren't as strong as I would like them to be, but good enough for what I could find here locally. So I'm gonna be using this to remove most of the gunk out. I'm gonna move the bigger stuff out by hand and by using little brushes that are a little bit stronger. But as far as the tube, to be able to get in there and get most of it out and reach certain areas that are hard to reach, I'll be using this to get to those areas. So I kind of wanted to go ahead and show you where I'm at right now on the cleaning process of this. You just saw me clean this out with the brush and vacuuming and all these other things, and I just wanted to show you the steps I did and how I did them. But right now it's close to done. I think this is rust. When I touch it, it feels like the surface has been eaten through by the rust, so it's pretty rough. It might be some grease that's just stuck in that indentation, so I'm gonna have to work it out a little bit more, but this is still good. It's not like the axle is gonna be touching the surface, like the walls here. I just want it to be away from any surface flakes coming off and ruining the axle and the diff. So just trying to clean all that surface rust out. But this is pretty good as far as we've gone so far. Now, this is the brush that I showed you. The bristles are really soft, and I kind of knew this coming in, but it's all I could find that could sort of work to help me out. It did do the job. It did clean out most of it. And once I threw the degreaser, which I'll show you the degreaser I used, it kind of helped a lot. Now, my only problem was the stick is too small. So I kind of had to go in through the diff side to get the long part of the axle, because if not, I wouldn't have reached just going from one side. And I probably missed like a good inch or so of the axle tube because it doesn't reach on either side. So on that part, I just got a longer stick and used the brush to get there. After I was done doing that, I did throw water in there with the water hose, and then to dry it off, I threw this on the brush and threw it in there when it was able to dry it off to kind of get a better inspection of what's happening. Here is the diff side. This is really nice compared to what it was, but obviously still needs a lot of work. And you see all these flakes that are coming off. I want that out, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a wire brush to remove all that. And I might go ahead and use some kind of brake cleaner or something just to be able to remove a lot of this extra little dirt that might be stuck. But that will need a wire brush just to remove all that, and then I'll just vacuum all that out. But yeah, and here's the degreaser I used, Purple Power. I used this on, or I got it at Walmart or Dollar General, one of those two. works very well. So I'll leave you here as far as this part of the clip and cleaning the axle. Also, don't forget to clean this off because you're gonna throw some sealant or something here. I'm pretty sure it's sealant. I don't think they have a gasket or anything, so just throw some sealant here once you clean this off. But yeah, so I'll leave you guys there. So after cleaning up the axle, removing the seals over there, I want to get to this. This will be removed by grinding it off because there's just no way for me to get something in here to pop this or hammer this down or something, because I'm pretty sure this is really stuck. As you can see, it's wobbling around. I don't think you want it to wobble so much. So this obviously is going to come with the kits from India for $20. You get everything. Maybe the bearings won't be as great as these. I don't know if these are original or what, but it's better than these crusty ones. So I got to clean all this up as well. It's in here. Cut this off, make sort of a gap, and then pry these off. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So here I have the next one on. I'm going to push this as far forward as I can and just start grinding on this bearing right now. So here is the line I created. So now what I'm going to do is get with a flat in there and kind of pry it apart a little bit just to make a bigger space to get the chisel in there and just start working this bearing out and removing it. Now usually you want to kind of get this one off first, but I noticed that if I just break this bearing off, it'll give me more space to work this one out, because clearly you don't want to let the grinder touch this since it's going to be at an angle. So you just want to get this out first before you start working on this one. But I mean, if you can get this one out without damaging this, then fine, like do that. But I would prefer just to like work on one that's sticking out a little bit more and then work on the other one once it's flat and the bearing's out of the way. So I just pretty much pried off the rest of the bearing, just how I kind of explained. So it's all over the place, but I just got this flat and just stuck it under the bearing and just pried up and down, and had a metal cutter here so to cut the little metal areas or metal pieces. And finally I was able to like pretty much pry it off, and this bearing right here is still on technically. So this is where the little bearing balls run. And what we're gonna do now is, now that this is good, and now we can get this out of the way. So now we just push this back, and right now I'll remove it from the vise and just remove it completely. But as you can see, now we can get a complete flat surface here and cut perfectly at an angle here, away from pretty much this and away from the axle as much as possible, and just cut at an angle. And I would say cut about up to here, don't cut all the way, just so you can, because this goes all the way from this end to this where this line is at. So we want to cut at an angle a little bit before the line so we don't damage this. So once we get as far as we can, we come in with the chisel and just start hammering away here. So that's what I'm going to do now. Just go ahead and grind a line here and then chisel after that. So as you can see, I've created the line here. And remember, this is the line where we kind of want to stop a little bit before, and we're getting pretty close to the end here. So right now I'm going to tap it a couple times with the hammer and the chisel just to start breaking it loose a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and continue to grind it down a little bit more and then chisel again, just making sure we don't touch any of the axle with the grinder, because if not, that will make it kind of loose once you put it back on. So I was hammering the line right now, and this one just happened to come off. So sometimes, you know, this hammering stuff will work even without cutting this line up. Let's see if it even made a little slit. Sometimes it makes a little slit in the bottom, and yeah, there you see. You see that little slit right before we touch this metal? That's what we want. So now I gotta go to this one and see if this one's close. I think I still need to go a little bit further into that line before it's able to come out. So I just finished hammering and chiseling this one. Can you see that little hairline crack right there? Kind of doesn't go through the chrome part, but you can see it right there all the way down across. So this is close to coming out. So there you go. Just hammered it down. Just hit it on the lip or on this lip, whichever lip, and just hammer it down this way with the chisel. And now I'm able to push it down to be able to remove it now that it's loosened up once that hairline crack came about. So yeah, so now that we're done here, put the axles away until the new bearings come in and then work on that. Also, don't forget to put the brake drum back on, guys, because you're gonna put it and then you're gonna realize, oh, I didn't put the drum back in. So I would suggest just, in this case, I have to clean mine up and then put it back on the axle and just have it there ready to go before you even do anything with the bearing, just so you don't forget it. So moment of truth, let's see if this is oil or it's water. Remember I told you I haven't checked the diff. I said it turns perfectly fine. No big problems here, but we just need to make sure that it's all fine and nothing is wrong with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to remove this right now. So as you just saw, the front axle looks good. I stuck my finger in there, I stuck a flat in there just to see if there's oil like in the bottom somewhere there, but I don't see any oil, so it's bone dry, but at least there's no water. So that was my biggest concern, is having to take out this axle, put another front axle in, because I didn't want to deal with the same thing I'm dealing with in the rear one. Now, I gotta remember to put, obviously, some oil in there so it can go back to normal. But it spun very well, even though I didn't spin it much like around here. It spun very well with, you know, it being bone dry. Obviously we don't want that, but it's not like I was driving it around, just moving it by hand around. Now the next thing that I do need to check on to see if it has water or oil, and it's this thing. I suspect that this has water because the transmission engine had water, and this was also out at the same time. So I would think this has water, but hopefully it was perfectly sealed and there's no problems and this works just fine. As far as shifting goes, I don't know how this works, but it doesn't seem... Okay, there we go. You can kind of feel it. So it feels fine, but you just never know. So I do got to check that for water. I got to put fluids on everything, so I might as well check and see if it has fluid or has water or whatever. So yeah, so since it's gonna take me 2 weeks to get these bearings in for the rear axle, and I really want to drop videos every week for you guys, I'm probably gonna move on to this and making sure that this does not have the water that I mentioned. It's good. And then the gas tank as well, we need to check that. So as long as I can knock these things out and have the rear axle ready and have everything ready, so when all that comes in, I can just make that video quickly for you guys and you can check that out. But in the meanwhile, in the next coming weeks, I'll probably move on to checking all this out that really needs it before we move on to putting the engine in, because that would be the next step after the rear axle, the gas tank, and the four-wheel drive system. So yeah, we'll leave you with that, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Please like and subscribe.